This is episode 13 of the Sexcapade Chronicles. We have a great show for you today. Lisa went to Vegas. I went on dates. It is going to be a very eventful episode. I promise you that. So, yes. Okay, so.
I'm very tired still. I'm trying to, be an adult and be awake. I'm not ready for this.
And I perhaps had a lot of fun and have energy and Gatorade next to me because I'm replenishing from the weekend of fun and debauchery.
I should have got Gatorade.
Okay,
but I have water.
So, as you can tell, we have lots of stories for you today, and we have lots of polls, lots of things to get through. Yes. So this is probably going to be a long episode just in advance, but we're going to make you laugh a lot because
that's what we do.
And we're crazy like that. Fantastic. Okay, so we have some awesome news about sponsors. So thank you to our sponsors that have come on board. Lisa is going to post information if you want to sponsor an episode or become a regular sponsor because our podcast has been seen by a lot of people.
Yeah. A lot of people are watching. A lot of people are interested.
A lot of people think this is going to be the next biggest thing ever, so that's kind of amazing. So we have sponsors now. We are going to be able to get that information up today.
Yeah, I'll get it up today.
So Lisa's back from Vegas and working again, functional, perhaps, almost.
I'm getting there. Another cup of coffee.
Another cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee. I drink energy drinks, which is really good for my blood pressure.
I live on coffee.
Okay. So what do we got to get through?
Okay, so Vegas. My first time in Vegas, I didn't really know what to expect. I just figured Vegas is going to be fun and awesome and crazy. So we check into the hotel, first hotel, leave, we walk over to the hotel where the conference was at, come back maybe hour and a half, and our room was broken into and some shit was stolen. Fucking awesome.
Great start. So she calls me when I'm at the movie premiere.
Freaking the fuck out. The security guy's in the room taking a report, and I was like, what do I do? What do I say?
And I was like, I got this. This has happened to me before. Don't worry. And hopefully I gave you some good information. Yeah. Because, this would only happen to both of us. The ones that,
Like an hour and a half. And they're for a private investigators conference. My whole box of business cards gone. I hope they hand them out and I get business. At least make it worth my while.
I mean, if nothing else, they were very resourceful in their pursuit. But they didn't take that much after, you went through this stuff. I mean, they took some expensive things, but...
Yeah, the shoes and wallets were kind of shoe and wallet whores.
Hey, you and Justin have your things. But the best part was last night, she's like, can you send me those pictures where Justin is in those shoes?
In those shoes. And you had them. Because I didn't have them, he didn't have them, so... No, I'm prepared to send everything to the hotel. And I'm not mentioning what hotel yet.
But I already told you how this is going to go, and we're going to blow that shit up.
I'm giving them today to call me and say, oh my god, we're so sorry, housekeeping sucks. They stole your shit. Here's all the money back for what you lost. You're saying that's not going to happen.
And I'm saying no fucking way because I had my room in Harvey's broken into a year and a half ago. Housekeeping had sex on my bed because there was jizz stains on the runner that were not there when I got there. On top of that, $1,800 in cash was stolen. And all of my stuff had been moved, and that's all they took, they didn't give a fuck. They were like, oh, we can't do anything about it, we can't prove it. And I was like, well, I was downstairs gambling, you know how much money I had, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, they're not, and when I lost my shit at the front desk.
Insurance form.
And told other people that were waiting in line to check in that, oh, by the way, my shit was stolen, someone broke in the room. They were very happy to give me a refund. Get me the fuck out of there because I'm loud when I have to be.
Us loud? Never. Causing scenes?
No. So if it happens like you say, then next episode it will be on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I will tag corporate. I have the letter to send corporate on my logo. Mm-hmm. Forms for everything. So anyway, after that shit. We went out drinking.
Because I'm sure Lisa form.
I did Vegas right the first night. I don't even know. I mean, we started walking down the street with some beers, and then it got to the point. Oh, and then we bought Fireball. Walking down the street drinking Fireball. My pinky is up in the picture, so I'm classy.
I have a broken pinky, so it's always up. I never healed from basketball in 8th grade, so it looks like it. Anyways, I thought you were doing that instead.
No, I didn't even notice until someone was like, oh, your pinky's up, you're classy. And I was like, oh my god. So we drank, we walked up and down the strip drinking. And then because you're drinking, you have to pee all the time, right? I have every hotel in the Vegas Strip.
I thought you were going to say you peed, like, somewhere in public. I was waiting for that.
You know what I wanted to in the bushes?
This is, like, more what I was waiting for. A street corner, a bush.
I was like, look, there's bushes. No one will see me. He's like, there's cameras everywhere. You're not peeing on the fucking street. I thought it was okay. I still think it's okay.
I'm really glad Justin was there to, like, say, Lisa, don't pee on the bushes.
I would have pulled you from jail. So here's what happened. So, yeah, we just kept drinking, walking the strip, and then the next day I'm looking at pictures, and I was like, we went to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant.
No recollection. Well, you said you had 2 hours of sleep and still went to your conference. So you stayed out all night, partied it up like you should in Vegas.
Right. Yeah, and then went to the conference and played adult and mingled and networked and did the whole adult thing. And then went back. We took a nap for maybe an hour, and then we went out again that night. And I could not drink enough to get drunk. My body is just shut down. I didn't know it was possible. My body was like, nope, not gonna do it today.
I don't even know what to say. Like, you couldn't get drunk.
I could not get drunk. We drank. I had a vodka drink, and then I got like one of those like tall.
Oh, the big ones. Yeah. Lots of shots.
Yeah. I drank that. Still nothing. And then we put Fireball in it because I was like, nothing is working. So drinking Fireball in it, nothing. We went to the bar. There's a bar that we went to, and as we walk in, they're like, grab your free shot, and I was like, what? Okay. So I had another shot, went home, I took a bath because my body ached so bad from all the walking, passed the fuck out, Friday night, 10:30, in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
I failed at Vegas.
You didn't fail at Vegas, you did it upright. I mean,
the first night, the second night, yeah, 10:30 at night, we were passed out. But 2 hours sleep, and
you were at the conference, so then you went to the conference. So you made some new friends, some new PI friends.
Yeah, very exciting. Very exciting. There's one in Vegas. I adore her. And I'm to get my work card for Las Vegas, so hopefully I can do some work there too. Because she does some good shit.
Vegas trips in the future.
Well, because
us in Vegas. I said I wanted to come along and tag along.
Who's gonna have the bail money though?
Do we know any bail's bondsmen? Well, I've not been arrested yet, so I mean, I tried to sleep on the sidewalk my last time in Vegas. You know, somehow I survive all of my trips.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but you know.
So next I'm gonna hit it a little less hard the first night and then I didn't want to come home. I wanted one more day because where we stayed, they had like the hotel, the pool, and the bar and everything, and I was like, oh, that looks amazing right now.
Yeah.
But you know, kids and stuff had to come home.
It's never long enough. Like, I always feel like, well, I am always dying by the end of Vegas because I go so hard. And, like, after, like, you know, the sidewalk incident, and, like, I was there for days, like, I literally felt like it was, like, after the cruise, but not as bad, I guess. Like, the cruise was, like, we were up for days partying, and, like, Vegas, well, it's the same group of people, so you go hard. Like, Waka had summer camp this weekend, so I was seeing all the posts yesterday of all my friends that I go on vacations with, like, how hard they partied. I was so jealous. I was like, Lisa was in Vegas. They were at fucking camp, and I was going on dates. But, you know, I was doing my due diligence for our podcast.
You were doing research, and I appreciate that, because I can't go on dating apps. The husband frowns upon that. Apparently that's not allowed. So
I decided to indulge and posted a lot on the Sexcapade Chronicles.
I'm glad you were, because I was just checked out.
Well, I told you I would work for the both of us, so...
Yeah. And you did. You did a lot of work.
Oh, yes. I did lots of work. And by work, I mean I drank excessively and made some great life choices.
I almost choked.
I mean, better than most of my life choices, but nonetheless, you know.
They weren't bad.
Not that bad. Okay, so Vegas. So I think we should go to Vegas together. That should
I think we should.
I think Justin would really shit himself.
Maybe I'll get a free trip out of the whole shit being stolen from a hotel I won't mention yet.
You know, I got my email last night, and I have all these free suites in Vegas, and I was going to bring that up to you today. I was like, let's go to Vegas. Like, yes, my birthday's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, what better way to bring the show on the road?
Yeah, and we do need to go on the road then. That'll be awesome.
So I signed up for Hinge.
Yes.
the day you left because I was lonely. And Lisa, I have not been without Lisa this long since we basically met.
Yeah.
It was like, I was like literally going through withdrawals. I felt like codependent almost. As attached as I get to people, I was like, Lisa, like I don't like this. I haven't talked to you in days. Like today's the first time I've talked to her in 5 days. So it's very exciting to me to have her back from Vegas. Now I was texting Lisa about what was kind of going on here as I drunkenly make great life choices. So, let's get to some of the polls and we can kind of talk about what we did over the weekend. So, we talked about how I asked you guys, how do you meet people? And 58% of you said out and about and 42% online. Mm-hmm. So,
I'm surprised. I thought more people meet online now.
I think so too. I thought that would be higher. I'm like, where the fuck are these people going in Sacramento?
Right. I mean, me and Justin met through mutual friends.
And I asked that question. I was like, do you meet through mutual friends? And people set people up anymore? And so, you know, in true me fashion, I decided to go do both. I was like, why would I not?
Right.
So, you know, as I was drinking it on Hinge on Friday night, because I stayed home for the first time, I don't know how long. I was not in Tahoe this weekend because I was here to do research. I had a date in Sacramento, the worst city in America to date. I decided this would be a fun little adventure. Now, this app, I'm not a fan of. Like, you have to like people and message them, and it's a lot of work. And people like immediately want to go on a date with you. I'm like, when am I gonna find the time?
Is it like the swiping thing with Tinder?
No, it's not like the swiping thing with Tinder. You have to message these people. It's like Match.com. Like, you know, you have to actually like message people and such. And it was like a lot of work. And a lot of people on there, like, I don't know, I'm not gonna say divorced and have kids, but haven't like dated. It's like their first out of the gate. I'm like, oh God, I know this. I just got out of that relationship. Right. Like, you don't want to be the rebound and you can like hear the signs and stuff. And I was like, oh no, this isn't gonna go well. Right. I'm gonna terrify them, but I'm still gonna go out with them. Don't worry, I have a date on Wednesday. You know, like divorced, 2 kids, has no clue how to date.
Right.
You know, because I thought that this would be a really good science experiment for us.
I tried Match when I left my ex-husband. I never met anyone on it. Well, because I ran into Justin again. But it wasn't a good experience. It was very weird.
Yeah, it's a very interesting experience. Mm-hmm. So, you know, in true me form, I had seen someone that had been liking my posts, like my Facebook stories on Facebook. And, you know, people like my posts all the time and such. So Friday I had 5 people ask me out. 5 people, okay? This is like a new record. One day, 5 people. I was like, God, I must have looked really good last night at that movie premiere. When you were in Vegas, like, you know, getting robbed. I was hosting a movie premiere and, like, fielding dates. So I noticed this guy and I was like, I went to Messenger and I was like, well, we talked before. It was like last summer. There was like 3 messages. I was like, well, I met this person in person. Mm-hmm. And I was like, earlier in the week, I was like, how do I know this person? I was like, is this one of the many of those nights I do not remember things? And so I'm sitting there trying to remember, and then he liked another one, and I've been drinking on Friday night. So I was like, how do I know you exactly? Like, because he liked another post, and I was like, I know this person. He's like, oh, I met you last summer when we were out and about, and you're with your friend, and I was supposed to go on a date with her, and then I liked you, but then my ex called, and I left. And so I was like, huh. He's like, but I have a crush on you. And I was like, why didn't you say anything? We met last August. And he's like, because I didn't want to end up on one of your Queen of Dating TV episodes. So now he's in the Sexcapade Chronicles, which is even better.
Yes.
So, should we go into the dating stories?
Yes, absolutely.
So he asked me out to go to brunch on Sunday. And then I was able to acquire tickets to The Price is Right at Thunder Valley. So he came down from Chico because he's working where the Paradise Fires are to be able to repair and like do all that stuff. He's a good person, you know. He's been divorced twice. And when I told him, I was like, oh, don't worry, welcome to the club. He's like, oh, should I shoot for 4x41 then? Like, so I'd not be outdone. So that, like, he's like, you know, I'm kind of shy and all of this. And I was like, aren't I going to scare you? And he's like, no, it'll be totally fine. And I was like, I don't know about this. So I message you, I'm like, what could go wrong? We're going to Thunder Valley. I'm going to be drinking. The price is right. This person, like, thinks that they know what they're getting into. I was 5150 from Thunder Valley, as I messaged you, okay? And that's, like, what people don't know. I spilled a glass of water on a machine, which is how I ended up 5150, because I refused to leave the casino. I might have been very intoxicated, and this was during the Reign of Terror, and I took an Uber out there and was very drunk. Very, very drunk. And I refused to leave the casino because I thought I was going to die. But that's the only place that's open at 3:30 in the morning. If you don't want to be home, I went to the casino. So my brother works for the Indian reservation that is Thunder Valley, so I thought it was a good idea not to leave the casino because that would reflect better for him when I was this drunk. So anyways, I end up in handcuffs in the sheriff's car. I mean, this is how I actually got 5150. So I told you, I was like, what could go wrong with this scenario?
It sounds like a great idea.
So then I put a poll up, you know, because like I was like, you know, this, I think this is kind of funny, you know, like what could go wrong? I told you this, my sense of humor, and I was like, well, he doesn't follow, but he said he's never seen an episode of the Sexcapade Chronicles. And I looked through the friends and it was like, oh, you know, the people that like our page, I'm like, oh, he's not on there. Like, it'll be fine. Like, we'll post a poll. So he drives all the way down from Chico, picks me up, takes me out there, and we have some time to kill, so we're in line to go register for The Price is Right to be able to be a contestant. And I was like, I might act a little psychotic. I want on this show. He's like, do your thing. I was like, no, really. I really want to be on this show because as a kid, this was one of the shows I watched every day at the babysitter's house because I wasn't allowed to watch TV. So this was like, to me, like one of the good childhood memories was The Price is Right. And so we're sitting in line, and I say something about, like, oh, yeah, I asked the poll. He's like, oh, yeah, I saw it. I wondered if I should vote in it. And I was like, what? I was like, and you still went out with me. And he's like, yeah, and then I read the comments. And I was like, so you follow my page? He's like, oh, yeah. And he's like, I didn't know if I should bring it up or not. And I was like, great. So I pulled people asking if I was going to be a hot mess to keep my life together or I was going to be a shit show. He knew this, still went on a date with me. Now we're there, and I brought to-go cups of alcohol with us because, you know, of course, I would, you know, need to bring drinks with us, you know, because he picked me up. Like, what better way to start off a date in Jenn style? And so I was like, well, let me tell you the story. I was 5150 from this place. I was like, there's so much more to the story. It did not sound great.
Right.
As the beginning of a date.
The first date.
The first date.
You're talking about 51 to 50.
Yeah. And I was like, no, don't worry. I messaged Lisa, and I thought this was really funny. Like, what can you, like, put, like, you know, out there is, like, this is going to go horribly. Like, let's go back to the place I was 5150 from as a first date. Give me alcohol and see what happens if I don't act like a train wreck of disaster. Now, I've come a long way, so I put this out there as, like, I don't act like a train wreck anymore, and people think I still act like a hot mess. But, like, at this point, like, what do I say to this person? Because, like, I'm joking. I was like, oh, yeah, the comments, ha ha. Like, and he's like, it's all good. And I was like, okay. So, as I get to know this human being, I find out he used to be a porn star. Like a year and a half in the porn industry. And then, you know, talking about that, he used to date porn stars, of course. And then he's had relations with a lot of famous people, more famous than myself. And, so, anyhow. Relations.
Keeping it classy.
Relations. So we had a lot of fun. Like, Price is Right got canceled because there was lightning. We were in, like, metal chairs. They made us go inside.
See, your date could have gone worse. So I was electrocuted.
Yeah, so I asked him, I was like, so did I act crazy at all? And he's like, only when you decided to go around and look for money in slots. He's like, I was like, that's a little crazy. And I was like, well, what else were we going to do while we were waiting? So we found, like, 12 cents here and 26 cents there. And it was just, like, a scavenger hunt for me. And, like, he's just like, I was just going to say I was your security. And then, you know, so I asked him how our date went. And he said it went really well. It was a lot of fun. I didn't act like a psycho. And, you know, I thought that was really...
I love that you went back and asked how your date went.
Well, you know, I needed to have feedback for this, you know, because we were going to brunch the next day. So since he doesn't live here, he, of course, had to sleep over on a first date. Now, this is like... sounds really great. But, like, where else was he going to go? So, okay. I did not have sex on a first date. I'm going to put this out there as someone that has this in their dates, do's and don'ts. I did not have sex on a first date. So he takes me to brunch on our second date yesterday. Now, over brunch, I learned that he had sex with Chelsea Handler, my role model. No, I say this is like when I was doing my blog under a pseudonym. I was living in like SoCal 10 years ago, and this is when she had just written like My Horizontal Life and Are You it's Are You There Vodka.
Okay. It's me, Chelsea.
Yeah. So this is what inspired me to start writing about my life and sexcapades, and I was like. And admiration, he's like, yeah, I met her on Tinder last year in the Bay. And I was like, you had sex with my idol. I was so excited. Now, only I would think this is a great thing, okay? So for me, I was like, porn star, had sex with Chelsea Handler, honest about things, had sex with, like, A-list celebrities, like, and he was not making this up. He could actually back this up. It's not like a tall tale.
Right.
It wasn't like he was, like, bragging. It was like, tell me more, tell me more. So, I text you. I've met my match.
I think for someone his threshold of crazy is so far. Like, we think ours is pretty up there. I think his surpasses it. So it might be a good match.
He wasn't scared at all. Like, that was like the best part. And he's like, oh, I saw your thing about going out with other guys and all these things. I was like, so you follow my page? He's like, oh yeah. And I was like, huh. Well, do you mind if I talk about all this? He's like, go for it. There's some people I couldn't mention because of like NDAs and such, and I told you some fun stories. Right. But anybody that's like willing to like date me and like let me talk about them, I thought that was pretty.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. So, are you gonna ask me the question about after the second date?
What do you want to say about after your second date?
I don't know. There might be a third date. We'll see. No, I'm just kidding. He said we'll have another date. I asked him this morning. He said our date went great. I acted like a lot of fun. I was authentic and honest.
Right.
And he said I was a lot different than he thought I would actually be.
What did he expect?
Probably the Hot Mess Express.
Right.
Much more of that, and I act like a normal person, like very humble and very down to earth, and people don't know that I can be that, given that I behave like my fun little self in front of everyone else. But I think that, we had really good conversations. Oh, I didn't talk about the best part. He took me on my best, most expensive dinner that anyone's bought me and taken me to at the steakhouse at Thunder Valley. And I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get to, go on dates where I don't pay for them, so.
You've been dating all wrong.
I know this. But I haven't been dating in a really long time. And, my last relationship, I didn't know it was going to start with me taking him out to find out about his divorce. And I took him to the steakhouse.
Right.
So, I was like, someone took me to the steakhouse.
Right. Yeah. Well, you deserve it. And I think a lot of women don't expect that. Not that... I know that was a who should pay on the first date question.
Yeah, who should pay on the first date? 44% you said the guy.
Right.
56% said whoever asked who out.
Right.
Well, I asked him to the price was right, even though he'd asked me to brunch the next day, because I was able to get the tickets. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't expecting him to pay, given our poll.
Right. I don't want to sound sexist and say the men should pay. But I guess it just depends on who asks who. Like, if I wouldn't ask a guy out, then I guess I would feel obligated to pay. It would be nice if he was like, no, I'll pay because I'm the guy.
But he's like, aren't you used to, guys paying? I'm like, no. I usually take care of them. This is a nice change. Right. He's like, you're dating the wrong guys. Mm-hmm. And so it was, really nice, change of pace. I'm going to be really honest. I was, on cloud nine, happy person. I was like, this isn't, all the other dates I've gone on. Mm-hmm. It was, the nicest, date I think I've had in, 10 years, though, since I moved back to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Because he dealt with my crazy ass polls, questions, me at a casino, the excitement that brings me. I was like, what could go wrong, Lisa? Casino, Jenn, alcohol, Price is Right, 50 would 50 from this place. This is going to be a set me up for winning. Plus that car ride. Getting to know one another to and from.
But it sounds like it went well because you guys were both so open and honest.
Yeah, exactly. And actually we talked about more significant things we do trauma and things that have happened in our lives. He's been married twice and he has 2 kids and divorced. So he was kind of more family oriented like you are than me. Because I don't have such things. Mm-hmm. But excuse me, I thought it was really nice and refreshing to be with someone that was so honest.
Right.
Because I was like, you can tell me anything and I'll be good.
Right.
As a person, I was like, I like it, you're honest, tell me more.
Yeah, and it makes you feel more comfortable to where you can be yourself.
Yeah. Because then I was like, oh, you're not going to be afraid of me then, kind of like, but I don't have to behave like badly to try to scare this person, because I was like, your threshold's very high. I think we can do this.
Right.
So I wasn't expecting this. So I had a lot of anxiety before going on a date because of what happened with my last relationship. I started having a panic attack actually, and I texted him and I was like, I don't know if I can do this, and he's like, when I was acting crazy when he's driving here, he's like, I don't know if I can do this. He's like, what if I would have turned around? So, you know, anxiety really does come up when you're dating. Do you ever feel like you got anxious before dating?
From dating. I mean, with Justin, we had been friends previously, and then he was going through his divorce, and I was going through a separation, but I was like, I should go back to my husband at the time, because that's gone well for the first 4 fucking years of being cheated on. Let me go back to that. So I went back to that for 4 years. So when we saw each other again, it was just, we kind of just picked up as friends where we were, so there was no, it was like we had known each other forever. So even on our first date, it was like we'd known each other.
Yeah.
And then before that, I never really dated. I just get married.
This is true. I'm not really want to talk about getting married randomly, quickly. But I think dating like brings like a whole other approach, because I don't date in Sacramento because of being on TV and stuff. Like I'm like, oh, how much do you know about me? He's like, because it gives me anxiety, because I feel like someone has like a one up on me. If you've seen me on TV or like write about my life, I'm like, how much do you know? And so I was getting really anxious, only from the standpoint of like, they always have more information, and I don't know what they know about me. I'm going in blind, so they can use whatever against me.
Yeah.
And so that, you know, I was like, okay, so what do you know about me? Like, you know, starting that way is like really hard for me. So I acted a little crazy before, just because I'm like, oh, did you watch my speech? He's like, well, I know you did your speech. I was like, oh God, like this is where we start from. That's like why I don't like to date.
Right.
I date in Tahoe.
Right.
They don't watch me there.
Right.
Because it's like a safe zone, like because I get to be a normal person.
Right.
But I got to be a normal person, so that was really.
You got to be yourself, and he liked it.
Apparently,
he didn't run.
He liked it, and this morning I was texting him. I was like, "So what would you like me to say about how our date went?" He's like, "It went great." So I showed you the messages, so you know.
There'll be another day, and I saw the pictures that you guys took, and they were super cute.
They were very cute.
They were very cute.
Yes. So I was happy. I had fun. Like, you know, someone that can deal with my crazy ass and like, you know, not run away. Or be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I thought was awesome. Right. So I still have to go out on my dates.
Your Hinge dates?
My Hinge dates. So this week I'll be going on the Hinge dates, because, you know, that'll be fun for all of you to hear about.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the text messages.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh, and then like, you know, thank you to the people that decided to put me back on like an escort website, because I've been getting all the phone calls. And so I made Lisa look up who it is. Thank you, Ryan in San Francisco, who decided to punish me by putting me on an escort app because I didn't want to date you. Thanks for that. I know who it is. Ryan, I got you. Lisa knows. I know. Private detective. Private eye. Yeah. Good job though. So let's talk about the people that polled. So we polled people about my date.
Yes.
So 56% of you thought that I would be great on the date. 44% Jen's gonna be a shit show hot mess. I am happy to prove that 44% wrong.
They can suck it, they were wrong.
Exactly. He even asked if he should vote in the poll.
You should have had to vote.
I did. He's like, but it was over. Like, when he saw it again, he's like, oh, I was like, can you go vote, please? And he's like, okay. He's like, oh, it's already over. I'm like, shit. That's kind of funny. So this person, like, is anonymous. Like, I'm not going to, like, put their shit out there because I don't do that. Right. He's like, so I'm not going to end up anywhere. And I was like, nope, your name won't end up, your picture, whatever. People can put it together. It wasn't on Facebook, so, you know, where my life normally plays out. I'm really good at protecting people, though, because I didn't put the last one out there.
Yeah.
Dating
not even after it ended.
Now that one ended. It was just wonderful. And he watches these episodes, by the way. He does watch
he's gonna love this one.
Oh yeah, he's like, I can't wait to get caught up. And I'm like, oh, me too. Me too. Oh, so much fun. So we talked about, we asked you guys, is when your significant other lies to you about something important, is that a deal breaker? For you, would that be a deal breaker?
It depends on what it is.
I mean, something significant. So I'm thinking, like, it has to be, like, it has an STD, like, cheated on you, money, like, big issues. Like, only 34% said it would be a deal breaker.
People have a low, or I guess a high tolerance for bullshit, if that's the case.
Yeah.
I guess it would depend on what is cheating. It's fucking gone. That's not even an option.
But I always said that, and you said that, and we stayed in those relationships as deal
Well, I
breakers.
mean it this time.
I mean it this time. I'm just saying, like...
After being cheated on for 8 years, not gonna happen.
I'm just saying, like, I stayed in a shitty relationship. I was like, I would be out if someone cheated, did drugs. Well, I stayed for a very long time. Like, so, like, it depends on your self-esteem and, like, where you're at, maybe?
I think it would... Okay, so let's say, like, Justin turns out to be, like, some, like, huge heroin addict and I didn't know.
My ex-boyfriend, thank you.
I didn't even think of that. I was gonna say another drug, but I didn't want to go down that road. So, if it was something like that, like, that's a big fucking lie, being an addict and not knowing, I wouldn't leave him for that.
Yeah. What if you put him in rehab repeatedly?
At some point, it's done. You've made your life choice, and I walk away.
I'm just saying.
You just get a divorce.
Divorce and move on. I got you. Apparently I need to start marrying these people so I get half of everything. Just kidding.
Marry someone that has something to begin with.
This is true. when I'm so excited someone paid for a first date, obviously I'm dating people that have things normally that I would get half of.
Right. Yeah. No, I did it wrong.
Okay, so I think that, like, you know, when we ask these polls, people, it's awesome to see feedback. We really enjoy it.
Yes.
The participation. So, on a more serious note, yesterday was Cancer Survivor Day. And I have many friends and myself who have survived such fun things as cancer. And it really made me think and reflect yesterday, after all my sexcapades and such, about, like, how many people are affected by cancer. Like, my friends that are under 40. Like, I have people that have survived leukemia and, like, thyroid cancer, me cervical, and, like, you know, for me, I feel sometimes bad because it wasn't, like, the cancer part, it was the complications from, like, them trying to cut it out and everything else, and, like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. So, I mean, I sometimes feel guilty because it's like, oh, I had my organs cut out, like, and then they cut out some other organs by accident, and then, like, I may live with pain every day, but it's not like everybody else's.
Right.
Do
you have guilt because it's not as bad as other people's?
I think that it's more like, I didn't explain them. I think it was more the emotional toll and the physical pain, just because I had to go to pelvic therapy for 2 years. And, like, okay, but other people have radiation and chemotherapy. I was in pain and had to go to a vagina doctor for 2 years because of the complications.
Right.
But that's not quite the same thing. You know, in my mind at least. Like, I could get better in theory. Like, you know, if I, like, went to a doctor to fix what went wrong.
Right.
But I think that one of those things is, like, people, the extremeness of me having 6 surgeries in a year, other people have so much worse, like, things happen to them. So I think that it's just sometimes I feel guilty in a way.
Right. It's where I have not known very many people that have cancer. No one in my family that I know of. I've known 2 people, and they both passed. When it was breast cancer. Actually, I think they both started as breast cancer, and they got rid of that, and they moved to the other breast, to other organs, to the brain. But yeah, cancer is not something I've had a lot of experience with. So for me, it's kind of foreign. I don't really know.
And see, my mom had skin cancer and had to have it cut out of her face, and I was there for that, you know, those surgeries and such. And then my grandfather had skin cancer, so, like, I mean, as a kid growing up, and, like, sunscreen wasn't really put on me, so I've had to have it cut out as well. I mean, I guess I could think about that as well. I mean, I've had a lot of traumatic things that I choose to, I guess, not think about on a daily basis happen. Because at 16, I had to have, like, it was the beginning. He asked me, actually, yesterday, he's like, was that one of your scars? And I was like, oh, no, I had skin cancer, I had to have that cut out. And he's like, Jesus Christ, like, how many scars do you have? Because I've had a lot of surgeries. Like, we counted 13 over the course of my life. I mean, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, like, I'm going to be 36 this month.
Yeah, we're in June.
Oh, God. The countdown's on. I mean...
It'll be a hell of a party.
It always is. But I think that, you know, when we talk about serious issues and stuff like trauma, like, the trauma that you experience when you go through that, you don't know if you're going to make it. And my date was asking me, like, you know, like, where did you get the PTSD from? And I was like, well, the undoing was like the surgeries and everything, and thinking I was gonna die like over and over again, and then the reign of terror just kind of like pushed it over the edge.
Right.
But when you think you don't know what's gonna happen, and when like they fuck up and you have less than 1% chance of everything happening and going wrong in every surgery, and the severity of everything, like you really don't think you're gonna make it if your odds are every single time you're the less than 1% of what could go wrong.
Right.
So, I don't know, I just want to say to all my friends that have survived cancer or know somebody, we're thinking about you. It's not easy. It's very traumatic, and we are very proud of you for, you know, staying strong. And, you know, we have a lot of love for you.
Of course.
Always. Always lots of love. We have lots of love for Vegas.
Maybe.
People that date us. Me. Whatever. I mean...
Oh, you know what? Okay, we didn't even plan to talk about this. So, after our last recording, I sobered up.
After we're drinking whiskey at 9 a.m.?
That's normal, right? No, so I sobered up, went home, and I went to my psychiatrist appointment. So... she comes to get me, and we're walking. She's like, "Oh, how are you doing?" I go, "Crazy." And I'm all, "Wait, wait." I mean, life is crazy. She's like, "Freudian slip."
Yeah, right.
And so, and I called you afterwards because I have a hard time dealing with everything. I don't even.
She has a hard time dealing with trauma.
So my psychiatrist called me out on my shit, and I was like, "Well, maybe, yeah, but so."
So what did she call you out on, Lisa? Because you're supposed to talk about this.
So
that's part of your homework.
She gave me homework, and I called her right away, and I'm like, she called me out on my shit. And I love my psychiatrist because she knows me so well, and she watches my what's it called? Not body movement, but like how I sit.
Your mannerisms.
Yeah. And so she started calling me out, and I sat like this, and I was like, shit, she's judging me for sitting like this. She's gonna call me out on that because I'm closed off now. I was like, so I'm gonna sit like this now. Oops.
As you
get all worked up. Okay, so she said that she'll ask me questions about trauma and what's happened. And she's like, I ask you one question and you answer this way. So I'll ask you a question that way and you answer that way. She's like, you always talk around the question. I was like, well, yeah. And then my homework was how trauma affected my life. And so I repeated how it affected my life. She's like, you don't say the word trauma. And I was like, well, I don't like it. She's like, that's why I keep repeating it.
Yeah.
Because I have yet to accept having to say sexual assault and trauma.
So you just said them.
Yes.
And what you have to say, you have to say the whole sentence though. I was a blank of say it.
What?
A victim.
Ew.
You know we would eat
Okay,
this.
so I had issues with sexual assault and trauma, and it's stupid, and I hate saying it, but apparently I'm supposed to.
Okay, so this is like the thing is, so like as we started doing these episodes and such, it brings up a lot of things for both of us, and I think that people don't understand sometimes how healing it is to have another person understand. Because like I pushed you, your therapist pushes you, but it also.
Well, there was one episode you called me out, and you were like, she won't say it, sexual assault, and I was like, ah.
It's hard though, because it's like I've struggled with this for years before I would talk about it. I wouldn't talk about it, so it's like I know what it's like to not want to say it out loud, because then it means it happened and it's real. And it's like, I don't want to be that person. Everyone's like, oh, how fucked up are you? I mean, like, at this point, everyone knows because I made it a public thing. But also, at the same time, we get messages all the time about, like, thank you for talking about these things.
Right. Because no one else wants to.
And it's one of those things that everyone thinks because we're funny and, like, because we're successful, we can't have all these other issues we're dealing with behind the scenes. And so as funny as we are and stuff, like, even on my date, we talked about trauma. Like, you know, we don't run away from those things anymore.
Right.
And this is kind of like when you talk about healing, it is like you're able to start to own your truth. And I think that that's what your psychiatrist is trying to get you to do. Because as I told you, changing the narrative, like that, you know, like how it goes in your head, which is the PTSD, is kind of like how you start to change your behavior and how you see yourself and your worth.
Right. And the other thing, like, I was texting you freaking out about to get on an airplane, and you were like, yeah, because you're scared because you're not in control. I was like, fuck.
I know her. I know, because I have the same issues. Like,
yeah, and I think and what's funny is I think it all goes back to what happened when I was younger. I lost control, and someone took advantage of me.
Yeah.
And so at 41, getting on an airplane, and I'm like, I can't control the situation, and it all stems from that, and I'm learning that, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
It really is.
Yeah, and like you always like to drive and be in control and stuff, and like, you know, like I told you, like letting you take over my apartment and like letting the kids and Justin in here, I was like, this would have never happened before because I had to control everything. I'm like, no, it's mine, like
Right.
because you want to have things you can control.
It's how you feel safe.
Well, yeah, and you can like it's what you can control because you couldn't control all the bad things that happen to you, so you can try to control your environment when you can. Now in the healing process, I'm like, oh well, I can't control anything. Like literally, it's like I can't control another person. All I can choose is how I react to something.
Right.
That's all I have control over in any given day. Like what I say and what I eat. That's it. That's all I have control over. Everything else is like on everyone else I interact with. And that's one of the hardest things in the world to accept. That you cannot make things go the way you want them to.
Yeah.
And so I commend you though, because like she did not want to get on this fucking airplane. Like literally, like this was a serious issue, and she's like crying and like fireball in the car, and I'm like, hey, this is what it is. If you want control, you can't control the airplane. I said, there's never been a plane crash going to Vegas. Like, it's,
You know what? I googled that. I was like, I'm gonna see if this is real.
I was right. Was I right?
And then I was like, no airplane crash to Vegas. What about from? Because I was determined. I was gonna be like, look at this. But there was nothing there.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen.
Yeah, no. I was like, disprove that one.
But the other thing is on the plane too was when I was like crying, Justin's like, yeah, it's because you're not in control. And I was like, people, quit calling me out on my shit.
God damn it.
I am strong, I am tough, and that is it. But
okay, so I'm gonna say this about you. When your room got robbed and everything, you were on the phone. You did not let that ruin your trip. So this is what I'm saying, how far you've come as a person. Let me give her props. She went out, had fun, did not let this ruin the trip. This was the very beginning.
yeah,
Your first time in Vegas. Normally, like, this would have been like the end all be all because like you feel violated and everything else, but you stood up for yourself, went to the front desk, like figured out a solution and continued on. So it was very traumatic. Because I can only imagine how traumatizing it is to go back and have all your shit stolen. But you made the best of it, had a great time.
yeah.
So, good job.
Thank you. I know. Thank you.
We don't have cocktails this morning. See,
No.
we're adulting today.
Water. It really is water.
We are rehydrating from our
Whew, that was a weekend.
Yeah, it was a weekend. So, until next time, friends. Wait for episode 14. We have some special guests coming on for you.
Yes.
Have a good afternoon.